You're welcome to the second part of the lesson, students. Let's start from where we stopped. Now look at this triangle. This triangle also, just like the previous one, is going to move. So let's see the movement. Here is the movement. This time it is not moving to the right. It's moving also in a straight line, but to the top. Let's now see the movement. Point 1. Point 1 has moved from this point to this point. How many boxes do we have in between? 2 boxes. Let's see point 2. It has also moved from this point, the former point, to the top point. Now, by how many boxes? 2 boxes. Can you see it is 2 boxes that we have in between? Look at the third one, the peak. It's also moved by 2 boxes. All right. So now what can we say? Give the instruction for the translation. How would you give the instruction? The triangle has moved from the previous position. It has moved to the top by 2 places, or it has moved to the top by 2 squares or 2 boxes. So we can say triangle 1 has moved 2 places to the top. Okay, let's see another one. I have my grid here and I have my triangle. Now look at this triangle. Let's see the next place that the triangle, okay, it has moved this way. This triangle moved downward and it also moved to the left, but by how many boxes or by how many places? So let's give the instruction now and see by how many places. The first point moved from the first triangle to the second one by 2 boxes. Let's see the second one. Also by 2 boxes. Can you see the boxes in between? From the first point to the second is 2. Then the third box also, or the third point rather, moved by 2 boxes downward. So we can say, we give the instruction by saying, this triangle has moved downward or down. It's moved down by 2 places, or it moved down by 2 squares. What about to the left? It also moved to the left. Look at the first point. The first point moved to the left this way. A shift move. There was a shift from the point where it was to the new point. How many boxes did it cover to move to the left? Only 1 box. The second point as well, look at it. Can you see where the blue arrow pops down now? It moved from this point to the next point. So it moved only by 1 box. The same thing goes for the third one. It moved from this point. The peak now moves to the next box to the left. So that means it shifted downward by 2 boxes and then to the left by 1 box. So it's okay if we say that triangle 2 has moved 2 places down and 1 place to the left. I hope you understand this now. Now let's see the next one. Now this next one, we're just going to be looking at our student book page 233. Now we understand how to give the instruction when we move the box. And now we're going to learn also how to move our coordinates or the shape to another position. This is giving us an instruction. Move 3 places left. We already have the instruction, so we just perform the operation. So move it 3 places to the left. Let's start, remember, from the first point. Our first point was formerly on 3, 2. Now we will move it from 3 to 3 places. 1 box, 2 boxes. Now the third box falls on 0, 2. Let's see the second point. Our second point, formerly on 6, 2, will now move to 3, 2. Okay, it has shifted on the same line to 3, 2. It says we should move 3 places to the left. So what we are doing is moving to the left. Let's see our third point. Our third point also moves to the left by 3 places from here to here. And what about our fourth point? Fourth point moves from this point to the last point. So now let's form our shape. Let's see the shape that we get. It's still a triangle. Oh, pardon me. This is a square. So let's join our points all the points are joined, and now we've moved on a straight line by 3 places to the left. What about the second one? The instruction has also been given. Move 1 place up. So let's start from the first point. Our first point is going to move. Remember, we are going up on a straight line. 1 place. So it means we are only going up by 1 box. The second one too, on our second point, we go up by 1 box. On our third point up here, we go up by 1 box. And also the same thing applies here. So let's now cover the boxes or connect our dots. See, we have moved this shape 1 place to the top or 1 place up. And finally, let's see from our workbook. This now is from our workbook, and let's see A. Translate the square. Of course, we have a square here. 3 squares to the right, or 3 places to the right. Okay, now let's start from the first point. Somehow the system has already created the second point, but let's do the first point, okay? The first point is going to be here. We count from the first edge of our box, or the first edge of the shape, then count 3 boxes to the right. It gives us an instruction to move 3 squares to the right. So the first square, second square, third square stops here. Then, of course, it has given us the second one. So the third one now, we move 3 boxes also to the right. The last point also moves 3 boxes to the right. So let's just connect the dots. And here is our shape that has moved 3 squares to the right. Sometimes you might want to make a mistake to think that 3 squares to the right means you will count from the whole shape, then leave 3 boxes in the middle, and then move to the next one. No, you don't count the whole shape. You count point by point. Okay? Now let's see this rectangle that tells us to move 5 squares down. We start, remember, from our first point. Our first point at the first edge here. You can see the first arrow is showing that this is where the first square will stop. This is point 1, so the arrows will be moving away now. I need to show how many we have counted. So we count by the arrows. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it means that our first point will end here, or will start here. Now look at the second point. Definitely should be here. Okay? Our third point now, look at the second group of arrows that we have here. The first arrow represents first square. Second arrow represents second square down. Third one represents third position down. And the fourth one, fourth position down. And then before we get to the fifth one, down. So it moves first, second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So it means that the new one will be here, and of course the last one will be here. So let's connect now our dots. This is the new shape we have. We have moved 5 squares down. Now if you look at the first square we had and the second square we now have, how many squares do we have in between the 2 shapes? 1, 2, 3. We have only 3 squares. So if you make a mistake of thinking that they are telling you to leave squares in between the 2 shapes, you will be wrong. You're going to plot it point by point. First point first, second point, third point, then fourth point. You have to count the squares point by point, or you count the spaces that you are told to give point by point. Okay? I believe you now understand. You can make your practice on the student book and on the workbook. We solved 2 already, so try to make the remaining 2, and then from the workbook as well, try to complete the remaining 1. So we have our next class in the Zoom class, and I'm sure we're going to be able to have a better understanding when we learn together. We learned that translation is movement of a shape or an image along a straight line, and then we've learned how to translate an image or a shape from one position to another. So it's been a good time having this class with you students. just go ahead and check your workbook and your student book. This, as I said earlier, is our last lesson, and I congratulate you for the whole period you have had in year 5. I wish you all the best in year 6 as you go along. And of course, we're still going to have our Zoom class. So see you in the next class. Take care and bye.